It's the most wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Make sure we know when we're live.
We are live. You got Mojo. You got Tony Russell. You've got Jen Hayes. You got Jake Byron and the Hall of Famer himself, or soon to be, Danny Dwyer.
Yes.
We're all in the same room again for another round of BSing.
Woo, I love it.
So last week we had our inaugural BSing session. Is that what we're officially calling these? I guess?
Yeah, BSing.
So a lot going on, and we come to the table with some new topics. I do have a couple of housekeeping notes. First off, yes, it's country music's biggest night, and we're going to go around the room at some point during this podcast and talk about our predictions for the night and make a wager, because we're all betting people here, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have something to wager I will put on the table at some point.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Like a spotting us, Tony.
Something that will speak to all of our hearts.
Okay.
Nice. Day
All right.
off.
Chinese
Not
food?
a day hot.
Okay.
Jen's close. Hey. No,
Veggie
no
girl!
spoiler alert. Now to bring down the room, did you hear
Okay.
the news about Justin Timberlake?
Yeah.
Whose fault is that, by the way? Who said yesterday he's not going to cancel? He's not going to postpone.
Danny Dwyer, why would you
Why
say
did you
that?
do that, Danny?
Just had a gut feeling JT and I are close, and whatever.
No, you were the one. Now, wait a minute. Maybe it is Danny's fault because he's the one who brought it up. He's the one that said, I bet JT's going to, you said, I bet he's going to cancel or postpone. You did
Oh,
say
that's
that.
right.
I did.
It is a safe bet, though. I mean, 2 weeks ago, he canceled Tonight's Show or Tomorrow Night's Show.
Seattle.
What was it? Tonight Show.
The
Yes.
Tonight
Yeah.
Show. Yep.
And
so
tomorrow night's show.
he
It's
waited,
a two.
Yeah,
In
so he
Tacoma.
waited
Two for-
till tonight or today to cancel
Maybe
Fridays.
his vocal cords are still, it
I'm
says they're
breaking
still
up.
bruised.
Yeah.
I'm breaking up with him. I'm thinking about selling my tickets.
Well, I get it. Here's the thing.
How
This is
dare
a new
you?
rule.
It's gonna
We need a new
heartbreak.
rule on this,
I'll
you
buy 'em.
guys.
Yeah.
If you're canceling a Friday show, the Make Good show should also be on a Friday.
Yes.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Now it's on a Monday night.
Oh, that's a
Monday.
bummer, man. Because, our boss around here, he's not going to let us take Tuesday off.
Hey, Mojo,
What a
can I have
jerk.
Tuesday off?
Sure, Jen. What were you going to ask me, Tony?
I know. When I was out there talking to Jen, we were at our desk, and I go, oh, it's a Monday, which means, and as soon as I said it, I went, she's going to ask off on Tuesday before I can.
He
So,
said an expletive, if we're being honest.
Well,
expletive.
I'll tell you what, though. Jen, you have a baby. You got a babysitter. I will definitely let you have that day off over me, because if you can get a babysitter when you have a little kid, that's the best.
Aw.
Me, I'm always alone. It's just another night.
I'll probably just stay in a hotel up here and then
Boy, this
roll in.
Yeah, it's true. I guess we could all.
BS and just took a lonely, pathetic turn.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go, Tony.
My
Jeez.
fault as always.
Hey, let's bring up the room with something fun and upbeat. Danny Dwyer, what are you bringing to the table today?
I'm bringing to the table today my lazy neighbor who does not want to pick up his leaves, and it is driving me damn crazy.
Okay, throw him under the bus.
Oh, hey, no, listen, you're going to love this, because I really want to know what
Would you
Jake's
like to give
opinion
his
is.
address too?
Yeah, I can show it to you. It's 3515. No, here's the deal. Literally, we posted the picture so you can see what this is. This guy has the biggest tree in the neighborhood and literally thousands of leaves everywhere. So every day I'm out there blowing my driveway, blowing the leaves because I'm mowing. I'm doing my part. I feel like I'm vacuuming them up, recycling them, putting them in the yard debris.
but could you put a shirt on when you do it?
I can absolutely do that. But here's the kicker. So the other day, Saturday, it's a beautiful day. It's not raining. I figured it's a good day to get outside, mow the yard, rake up all the leaves. I start to rake up the leaves. I realize he has a ton out there. What does his wife do? She jumps in her car.
Not rake leaves, apparently.
No, she doesn't. She sees me out blowing the leaves in his yard because I've raked up my portion of them. So I'm like, hey, this is all yours. I'll help you. I'll blow them in yours. All you got to do is grab your recycle can.
Right.
And go ahead and scoop them in. It doesn't take 20 minutes. What does she do? She jumps in her Suburban. She opens the garage door. She backs the car out. She glares at me. She pulls her car back into the garage and shuts the garage door.
Because you're calling him
my
lazy in a
goodness.
passive way.
Well, she's lucky she didn't roll down the window. I probably would have said something else.
That's exactly why she didn't do it, man.
Get off the couch and stop eating those damn bonbons.
See, you would have hated me as your neighbor, because what I do is I would always just take my lawnmower and keep grinding them up.
Well, I
would
was
never
nothing wrong
rake
with
them
that.
or
Well,
blow
that's
them in.
fine.
I was doing that, but I only have so much room. So
Right.
what would Jake Byron do? Would you go out and rake them all up for them, or would you blow them on their side? I want to know.
Oh, I would leave it alone.
Yeah, he would.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he
Jake
would,
is
yeah.
not confrontational.
He's not
I'm not
confrontational.
gonna, bother my neighbor about it.
So you'd rather have all the leaves and all the debris gather at your front door and come into your house, and you have to constantly
but
clean.
I'm not going to go yell at my neighbor for it. If I wanted an HOA, I'd live in an HOA.
Hey,
Right.
You should see when Jake and I, because both Jake and I are very we don't like confrontation. And so when we do have confrontation, then we'll both stew over it a little bit. And then we start saying, you know what? I'm sorry, man. That's my fault. And then he'll be like, no, it's my fault. And then we start taking that woolly up. No, it was my fault. I shouldn't have said it. Like, is that not true? Like, both of us, even when
I don't let it go after that, though. Just after we blow it up. Like, I'm still stewing over most of it.
Yeah,
like now.
we both then, we don't like to argue so much that it's like the quickest arguments ever. And then we both start apologizing, even like, if it's even like when he's not in the wrong,
Right.
he'll still apologize.
Right.
Is that not
Jake's
true?
still plotting revenge from things in 1998, I'm sure.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Oh, I'm waiting for my moment. Sure.
Oh, crap.
Sure.
I didn't
yes.
know. See,
Yeah.
now that I know
I'll
that,
never
I'll
forget.
apologize
He never
faster.
forgets.
But-
But notice nobody's asking me what I would do.
But, okay, but seriously, I mean, let's put it on the Bull Nation. What would you do? Would you just leave it? Would you rake it up? Would you blow it back on their yard? Because I want to know. Because me, I can't handle it.
I would take it a step further.
Okay.
HOA?
I would take the leaf blower and blow it all onto their front porch. Just a pile of leaves. You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm
With
thinking
a Christmas card right on
I'm
top.
about that close to doing it.
That's why I live in an apartment, you guys.
I know, it's driving me crazy. My
trust
wife tells me I need to slow down.
Yeah, you should probably take a deep breath. Let's be honest here.
It's just leaves, but I'm slightly passive aggressive too, so I'd be out there just. Yeah.
What are you bringing to the table?
I'd just go poop in their backyard. That's how I'd handle it.
Well, that's true. That's actually something he historically does. Jen, what do you have for us today? Pivot from that, please, quickly.
How do you get out of that?
I know.
Well, I tell you pull your pants up and you walk away.
But you got something to wipe with because I got all the leaves there.
Oh, that's what they're for.
They're big
Yeah.
maple leaves. They'll cover a lot.
Maybe Danny should go over there and wipe a little
What are
bit.
you trying to say?
Jen, help us bail us
It's
out.
not a
quick.
fig leaf.
I'm here to bail us out with a really even more controversial topic.
Oh, Lord, I'm staying out of this one.
Should women be involved in everything? Basically, what happened is.
Yeah, you're right. Let's skip her. Let's go on. Jake, you're next. No, I'm kidding. Little humor.
Yeah. I haven't had a date since Obama was in office, so I'm staying out of this
Been
one.
a few years.
It's categorically not true.
That's not true at all.
He was president yesterday?
Yes, he was on a date yesterday. Anyhow, yesterday, GQ announced their 2018 best men list.
And
Okay.
Danny made the list, right?
Of course
He
you
should
did.
I was like number 99 or 98 somewhere in there.
So
98 sounds right.
each category, they've got categories, and there's a man in each category.
Mm-hmm.
Well, champion of the year, Serena Williams got. And I was like, why is there a girl on GQ's Men of the Year list? Not that they couldn't find a dude who's a champion of the year. I mean, I could name a few.
Right.
So here's
like
what.
Tom Brady.
That's like nominating Kelsey
No,
Ballerini
not
for
like
male
Tom
vocalist.
Brady.
Yeah,
God.
I agree.
You're going to be off this podcast.
Jen's just taking over now.
But
And that's why, Jen. That's why.
But basically, where I'm coming from on this, I love women. I'm pro girl. We should have equal opportunity, girl boss status, all the things. I'm all about that.
Spice Girl reunion tour.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yes.
Except for what's her face.
Although I wish it was sponsored by Old Spice. That would be even cooler. I digress. Go ahead.
Thank you. So my only issue with this is that I feel like women have gotten so bent out of shape about not having equal opportunity that they feel like they now have to take away men's things. Does that make sense?
Do you
Yeah.
think this was like Serena's idea?
No, I don't think she was waiting around with her fingers crossed,
Yeah, it's not her
hoping that
fault.
she made the 2018 men's list. I don't think so. And yes, and we discussed this before on our show, that, yeah, it's GQ's magazine. They can choose to do what they want. If they want to add in women, that's their deal. But I feel like they're choosing to be politically correct.
That's what I was going
Thank
to
goodness.
ask.
And I don't understand why, as a society, we can't
Jake
be
hates that word.
okay with having a men's list and a women's list. Why
I
can't
agree.
we have a top men of the year? and
in their
only
own words,
be men.
in their own words, they were saying like we want to be more inclusive, and so that's the decision that they've made. They have this list that they come out with every year. That's the men of whatever list. And they've decided they would like to make it more inclusive.
Okay.
But why not call it the best of the best?
Because then we still have the same
People of the year.
We still have the same discussion where you're saying like, oh, GQ had to change it to People of the Year to be more inclusive. It's political correctness. Fighting our political correctness is a good thing, you guys.
Well, how'd that work
It's
out?
a great thing.
How'd that work out for the Boy Scouts? Now they're getting sued by the Girl Scouts.
Well, that's a different thing. That's a trademark infringement.
Yeah, that's the name of
You
it.
read just the headline, and you think that same thing, but
It's actually
they're
a
calling
name
them-
thing.
They're
Yeah.
calling themselves the Scouts, and Girl Scouts own that name.
Where
Oh.
I'm coming from is that if nice,
Yeah,
I don't
Tony.
think that was on.
Yeah, hold that
Go
up.
back.
Hold that
Hold
up,
up, Tony.
I was
Go
like,
back.
just for the record, I can't. I don't need any bad luck.
We
man.
know, Tony.
I mean,
we know.
I don't want to sound like a woman hater or that I'm like suppressing women in any way. I just feel like we've gotten a little too carried away that like men can't even have their own damn list.
So you're saying like we overcorrected as a society?
Yeah,
That's what we do,
like,
though.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
We do.
Time magazine, and I said this before, has their people of the year, their top people of the year, and that's an equal list.
Right.
And it both genders are equally represented on that list. And so if GQ, which is a men's magazine, wants to come out with a men of the year, why does somebody have to be offended by that? Why can't it just be men on the men of the year list?
Right. Women
Right?
have Women Magazine and Bazaar and a bunch of others.
They Vogue, like they all
Right.
do women of the year.
Maybe this isn't an overcorrecting thing. Maybe this is a conscious marketing decision to get some press.
Who knows what it is?
'Cause we're talking about it.
I just don't understand why we have to take away a men's list and put a woman on it. Like that's basically ass backwards to what we're trying to do.
Sure.
Like taking away something from men and putting us on it doesn't solve the issue of like women being equal. You know what I mean? Like let men have their list.
Yeah,
Well,
hashtag us too. and
It's
stuff.
the year of the woman. It's the year of the woman.
I don't know how to
We're
follow
trying-
that up.
We're trying to make up for the 7 zillion years that we screwed you guys over. That's all. I think that's what you're seeing, and I can see why GQ did it. They're kind of their way of saying, hey, we know women have been shortchanged for a long time. We just want to acknowledge this amazing woman, this amazing athlete. But I see both sides. I definitely agree with you. We overcorrect, and to the point of like, we can have a guys list and a girls list and no one be offended.
Hey, for the record, Serena Williams is an incredible athlete and
She-
probably trumps most guys. So
Yeah,
there's that
absolutely.
too.
Amazing. And I have
Right.
nothing against her. I think she's incredible. But do I think on a men of the year list there's a dude in any given sport that could have also made the list easily? Yeah. I do.
Wait, this just in, Carrie Underwood is now nominated for Male Vocalist of the Year.
Oh yeah. There she
Don't
goes.
eat
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Can I throw- can I-
my
I've got the nominations. We're going to go through them here in just a few minutes.
You want
Yeah.
to talk? Yeah, because that's maybe a good segue to the Entertainer of the Year where there are no women listed. Yeah.
Well, there's reason for that. Let's save that for
Whoa.
last.
Whoa.
No, I'm
You
I'm
don't
just
open
saying.
up that, Bo.
No, I'm just saying there. I got to be careful how I say
know,
this.
yeah.
The best entertainers this year in country music, in terms of concerts and everything else,
Whoa,
just
let me-
happen to be men, in my opinion.
Based on
The
ticket
top 5.
based on ticket sales,
Ticket sales,
album sales,
all of the above.
Not your opinion, but
Not
based
my
on what
opinion.
sells. Okay,
like,
guys, I'm trying
like
to help you out here.
factually, statistically, the top tours. And look, if they were going to throw a female in there, it's going to be an unpopular decision that Taylor Swift should be nominated
I think
if she was still
I think
country
we should
music.
keep talking about this a little bit because you and Danny
Okay, we can do that now.
You guys sit down and spend a lot of time deciding what music we play, and it's not based on what you like or what Danny likes. You all play based on what research says, and they include men and women in this research,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And you look at this research, and it tells you what men and women want to hear on their radio. Am I
Right.
right on that?
No,
Yeah.
100%. And it's
Yeah.
and it's I guess the best way to describe it would be like Moneyball. The movie,
Yes.
you've seen the movie, right?
Oh, it's one of the best movies.
We look at all the numbers and we make the best decisions on the slots we have available based on all the metrics we see. and all
Because
the
if it
data
was
points.
based on what you guys liked, there'd be probably a lot of women that you would because I've heard you guys in there listening to new female artists, and you're like, I love this.
Right.
And a lot of times
Yeah.
it's timing. You know, people like what they know, so familiarity plays a big part in
True.
it. But songs we can hear, today, brand new songs, we might not be, playing a lot on the radio for 6 months. But
Yeah.
when we do, it's a massive song. Sometimes it just takes a while to, get
To
everyone
build up
familiar.
this generation.
I would not
yeah.
have your all's jobs. I mean, because the music is one thing, and I saw this when I was a pastor in the church. Like when you just can't make people happy. Like no matter what song you play or what
Right.
type of music you're playing, it's just somebody's going to complain about it.
Sure.
It's
Well, okay.
such a hard job.
Let's
It's a
go
hard
through
thing
this,
to
and
do.
based on our opinions, I have
Yeah.
a bet. You want to go ahead and do this now, I guess, and
Yeah.
then we'll
I
go
would
to
love it.
Jake's next because I like where you're going with yours too. CMA nominations. We're each going to go around the room on all the big categories as quickly as we can, and we're welcome to see your feedback too on the comments. Let us know what you think. But the winner, the person who gets the most right in this room, I will take out to lunch.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And
Cool.
it won't.
Veggie burgers for everybody.
Okay, you know what? I was gonna say it doesn't even have to be vegan for you guys, but you know what,
Side
Jake,
of
you're
green
right.
beans.
Veggie Grill it is.
Well, the times you have picked the vegan places, they've been good. I will give you that.
Oh, I heard you guys making fun of it. the other
Yeah,
day.
well. it is.
I did not make
No,
fun
not
of it.
you,
I'm a
Jen.
big,
It's
huge
such an easy
fan.
punchline. I can't even help.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Right.
let's go
Swing at the
around the
softball.
room.
Do it.
We'll start from the bottom to the top. Single of the year.
Okay.
This, I think, is based on the commercial success. It goes to the engineers and the mixers and the producers and all that. Stapleton's Broken Halos, Midland's Drinking Problem, Aldine and Miranda's Drown the Whiskey, Meant to Be from BB Rexa and Florida Georgia Line, and Danny Shea Tequila. Danny Dwyer.
I'm going with BB Rex and Florida Georgia Line.
All right. Jake.
Skip me. Let me come back to that.
Okay, Jen.
What was the second one down?
Drinking Problem, Midland.
Oh, boy, she likes her Midland.
Broken
I
Halo-
do, but I
Broken
know
Halos.
that Florida Georgia Line BB Rex's song was money. I'm gonna go with Florida Georgia Line,
Oh,
but I want it to be Drinking Problem.
okay. Well, you get one, so you're gonna choose.
Okay,
FGL.
Yeah.
FGL.
Tony.
Gosh, I love that FGL and BB Rex the song too. But
Okay.
if I had to guess, I would say Broken Halos is going to win it.
Really?
But I
He's
sure
not far off. I mean, you got to figure that
Right. It's the CMAs.
it's the CMAs.
Yeah, they
It
kind
is
of
do
Stapleton's
love themselves some staple beer.
First
Yeah.
number
They
one
do.
for Stapleton.
they do. They
FGL.
basically made him, right? Is
Yep.
it CMAs that made Chris Stapleton, or was it the
Yeah.
ACMs?
Yeah,
CMA.
CMA with Mr. Bruce
Justin
vocal cord
Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Timberlake. fans.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen. I
Okay.
guess I got to go Meant to Be as well. Although I do think Jason Aldean and Miranda are probably going to be a dark horse on that one, but I'm going to stick to Meant to Be.
No way.
That would be
How do you
our-
mean a dark horse?
Aldean and Miranda win a lot of CMAs, especially Miranda.
Right.
And
We all know that.
I have a feeling that's going to be a winner.
Okay.
But I'm sticking to my guns on this and sticking with what you guys said Meant to Be. Everybody but Tony. Tony, you're on your own on this one. Song of the year, Body Like a Back Road. This goes for the songwriters, by the way. Body Like a Back Road, Broken Halos, Drown the Whiskey, Drunk Girl, and Tequila, which are kind of funny when you say them like that.
Yeah.
Drunk girl and tequila.
Yeah, right? Danny Dwyer.
This is for songwriter.
This is
Wait,
for
what-
song of the year.
What are people saying? Is there any
Comments?
other
Yeah.
feedback on this?
I tried to check the comments, but
I'm a
it plays the
Danny.
audio at the same time, so then you're gonna hear.
Oh.
And I can't turn on my computer because then the light
Um,
on my face makes me look like I'm on the sun.
Oh, that's not good. Let's see. Song of the year. Man, I'm going to roll with Dan and Shay on this one because
Okay.
they've had a really strong year, and that song just went massive.
It is a great
crazy.
This is not songwriters. This is song, right?
Yeah, this is
Song
song.
of the
Goes to song.
It goes to the
The
song.
award
songwriter.
goes to the songwriters. and
Everybody, all the artists wrote these songs, by the way, except for Drowns the Whiskey.
right.
That's the only one that wasn't written by the
Right.
artist.
Dan Smyers wrote Tequila, so I'm going to go with that one.
It should be Body Like a Back Road, but it won't be. It'll be Drunk Girl.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Pull Jake.
You're the woman.
Okay.
I'm going to say it will be Body Like a Back Road because Shane McAnally wrote it, and he went.
Oh, he
and
wins.
He's good. And he
He's
runs
so
Nashville.
good, yeah.
I don't know.
Wasn't that
I don't know
nominated-
what pictures he has of people in Nashville that he has hidden, but that guy gets to. His name is on every song, and
Yeah.
it becomes a hit.
He's
So
good
did
at what he
he
does.
win Single of the Year for Body Like a Back Road last year?
Yeah,
He wouldn't get
I think
nominated 2
he
years in a
won
row. Oh, the other one?
This is
Single-
Song of the Year this
They
time.
don't have a different
Yeah.
window for those, do they?
Maybe.
don't
I mean,
know.
this song's like a year and a half old. Jen, what are you picking?
That's a big song.
Drowns a Whiskey.
Okay. Wow, we're
Wow.
all going different. Then I should say Broken Halos to spread it around, but I'm not. Drunk Girl, I think. I agree with Jake. That's the one that's going to win.
It is
But it
it's an
should be
amazing
Body
song.
Like a Back Road.
It
You are
sh-
right, Tony.
I agree.
100%
Everything
that should
with
win.
Jake,
Yeah.
that should be. And Tony, you might actually surprise us all and win that one.
And I'm going based on airplay and song
Sure.
sales.
And
but-
listen to that song. It's still awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
we
Very
listened to it
catchy.
a few times, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I still like it when it comes on every morning.
great
So
song.
yeah.
Okay, vocal group of the year. We have Lady Antebellum, Lanco. Just and scratched him off of that one.
Little cool. I love Lady. We all love Lady A, but they've done nothing this year.
I was talking about Lanco. Little Big Town, Midland, and Old Dominion. Danny.
Old Dominion.
Okay.
It's their year.
Jake?
No question. Old Dominion.
Jake? Jen?
I want it to be Midland, but Old Dominion.
Not in Midland's time yet.
No.
Tony?
I hope Midland keeps rolling. I would like to see them.
We all do.
More and more of them. I would
who's
love
gonna
that.
win?
But it's Old Dominion.
Okay, yeah, we all agree on that one.
And I love them too, man. I listen to them a lot.
Can we take a moment and reflect on this? The first time we've ever all agreed on something in the history of ever.
Shocking.
But let's roll back to what Jake and I both said a couple minutes ago. Again, it's the CMAs. It could just be totally politically and be like, it's Little Big Town. We're like, they haven't done anything.
And it's always important to keep in mind, this is voted on by people in the country music industry, not fans.
And it's not that I
does
don't
play a
love Little
factor.
Big Town. I love them. But I think this is the year for Old Dominion. I think this is the year of change. A lot of change is going to happen.
Let me ask you real quick, Tony. How do you feel about that the CMAs are, and I'm asking you for a reason. How do you feel that this is voted on by the industry? I
don't like it.
Okay, so that's different because you only think, like in the general voting, in the general election, that people who know what they're talking about should vote. The CMAs, right? You see what I'm saying?
So true, yeah.
Exactly.
That
The CMAs is filled with industry people. Arguably, we all know what we're talking about.
Now you're going to make me switch. Now I might agree with you.
That's such a snowflake thing to do.
I can say this because I'm not a programmer and I'm not connected, but I just think it's so political BS that I just think that, like, I look at the stations sometimes, the morning shows that win the CMAs, and I look at the who's winning in the music, and I think there's just no way. That's not based on any. That's political. I don't know who's buying these votes, but that's what I think about when I see
feel the
CMAs.
same way until we
But
win.
I will say this. Although my friends, two of my very good friends won Major Market Morning Show of the Year, and I know they didn't do it politically. They won it because they deserve it. So,
Bud and Broadway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love those guys. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter.
So how did that happen?
I think you're
how
better.
did they win without,
It's I think they do. I think you have to work really hard to get to win the station or
great content
morning show,
and you got to wrap yourself in the community. And I think you guys do a great job of that. So I'm voting for Tony, Jake, and Jen next year. We're gonna get there, guys.
Thanks for your vote, buddy.
Yeah, you bet.
But the music on the music side, I do think it's very political for whatever reason. I think the record labels have a lot to do with who wins.
Right.
I think they.
And that's why Lorna Lynn is nominated for Best New Artist when she's been around for like 5 years.
I love her.
I know. I just think it's
love her to
weird when
death.
you're like,
I love
oh,
that
Best
young
New Artist, Luke Bryan. What?
She was in the New Faces show last year at CRS.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still not a household name or anything like
No.
that.
She's not.
She's still.
Well, maybe the name New Artist needs a new name, like Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Or
we all
something.
agree that the CMAs need another category, a mid category.
True.
And what about Single of the Year, Broken Halo, Song of the Year, Broken Halo? How long's that song been out? Is that
Well, no, that's still within the year, and it's the first number one for Stapleton, so yeah, that might be a dark horse too. New artists, let's go through that. Lauren Elena, Luke Combs, Chris Jansen, Midland, and Brett Young. Danny Dwyer.
Oh man, this is a tough category. I'm really struggling between the two. I'm pulling for my boy Brett Young.
All right.
his
Jake?
voice is butter?
But that's like because you like him vote, right?
No,
I think it's a toss up too.
Danny likes all
And
of
don't
them, and
say
they like
local.
him.
No,
Yes,
I don't-
Midland has a guy from
I'm not going
McMinnville,
to throw
so-
it in the local because that I know his family.
But-
But I do know. but
Name dropper.
The fact of the matter is that I'm like I just think that personally, I've seen him perform, and I'm like, damn.
He's got a lot of ballads.
God, he's got a beautiful
is-
voice, man.
He
does.
Like he's butter, man. And he's open up that palm, and you're sitting in it right there.
And
he
it
has
is
a
hard
re-
for you too, though, because let's be honest, you guys get to go out to dinner with some of these people,
Sure.
and you get to know them, and you love them. So it's hard not to pull.
He
for
was
him.
the first
That's
artist
okay.
I interviewed down in our Bloodworks Live studio when I took this job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm a
And
fan
they're
of
so
his.
good. These guys are so nice, and they're so good to be around that you pull for all of them.
And every song he's put out has been number one so
Yeah,
far. So
I would
there's
love to
that.
see the tallied votes afterwards to see how close it is between him and Luke Combs because I think those are the two biggest. I honestly
We're
do.
changing the name of the CMAs to Florida.
Yeah.
Recount!
Can't.
Luke Combs, I love that guy.
Is that your pick, Tony?
Yes, he's my pick, and he breaks every mold because he's a good-looking man, but he's not a pretty boy. Let's be honest. I mean, and he just comes out, grabs his beer, holds it up, and then just wails.
I agree
It's
with
awesome.
Tony. I never thought I would say that in my life.
You're picking Luke?
I am picking Luke Combs. Again, every song he's put out's been a number one. I just think he's a little
I'm
more
going with
country
my
than
heart
Brett.
more than my brain on that one.
Right.
I'll be honest.
It is a
Yeah.
tough choice, and I think it really is going between those two. I love Chris Jansen.
Oh, I 100%
just
think
don't-
Chris Jansen's in the conversation as well.
Okay, fair. Jake, who are you picking?
He's in the conversation, but I got to go with Brett Young too.
But you know what?
But I don't think it's a clear cut like it's one of those two are first and second. I think Chris Jansen could absolutely be second and maybe even win.
And,
Right.
What about you,
all
Jen?
the voices into those guys.
I'm between Midland and Luke Combs.
Are you like in the Midland fan club?
She's the
Yes.
president.
You guys, because how good looking they
No,
are.
she just
Come
has
on,
a
let's be
drinking
honest.
problem.
Those
I
boys are pretty.
No, I love how they make the older country come back to life in like a new way.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
like
it's
that.
nice to hear that kind of that classic sound out of them, and they wear the like vintage outfits. Man,
Sure.
I just
They're wearing the nudie
but
suits.
do I
Bold.
think
They are
but
good
do I
looking.
think that they
Yeah.
beat Luke Combs on songs and stuff?
What's
like,
going to get you free lunch?
That's how you got to play this.
I have to give my like vote to Midland.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
I think this.
Hey, you know
Damn.
what? I commend your boldness.
I do too. That's a bit. That's
Yeah,
going
because that's not going to happen.
Remember, well,
They're fourth on the list. I mean, they're coming in
Not
fourth.
wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, who
I'm gonna go with Lauren
predicted
Elena.
that Chris Stapleton was going to rack up a few years ago when no one knew who he was?
Yeah.
I would like to say, though, I did know who he was before he was a thing. That doesn't make me hipster. I just did like him before. But seriously, huh?
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
Remember that? And everybody went, huh? So don't say that, Jake. You could be wrong.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to be wrong.
Lots of people voting for "Body Like a Back Road" on here for song,
Okay.
and they like their Brett Young.
They like their Brett Young?
Yes, they
I do too.
It's pretty great.
Brett Young's a fan
Yeah.
favorite. Okay.
Yeah.
This
I
isn't
do
voted on by
too.
fans. Keep in mind.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so shut up, fans. That's what I'm saying.
Why'd the hipster burn his lips on the coffee?
Mo joke time.
Because he drank it before it was cool.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, you brought up a hipster. I had to throw a Mo joke in
Your
there.
facial expression made that joke.
Well, we were the most divided on new artists. That'll be interesting to see tonight on the CMA Awards. This one, it should be an easy category. Vocal Duo of the Year. You've got Brothers Osborne, Dan and Shay, Florida Georgia Line, Maddie and Tay, and Sugarland.
I don't think
let's-
it's that easy.
Let's start with you then,
I didn't
Jake.
think it was easy
Wait,
either.
can you redo the list one more time?
Yeah, okay. Brothers Osborne, Dan plus Shay, Florida Georgia Line, Maddie and Tay, and Sugarland. Jake, we'll start with you.
You can
this time.
simply never discount Florida Georgia Line, but
They never win, though, do they?
sure they do.
Oh, they have.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
it was
have.
like
They
for
They
had
had
their
a
time.
nonstop train of
Brothers Osborne won
CMAs in a
last
row.
year, didn't
Yeah,
they?
but that's how it's gone. So think about this: when you talk about the duos of the years, it was Brooks and Dunn forever, or why it was
Boy,
the
that
Judds. Then it went to Brooks and Dunn. Then it left them, and then it went to
Sugarland.
Sugarland. Then Sugarland to Florida Georgia Line. The Florida Georgia
That's where
Line
it's
to
at.
Brothers Osborne.
Right. Brothers Osborne is not hardly in the dynasty yet. But
I'm
they're-
going with Dan and Shay.
Okay.
God, that's a good pick.
They do. They
Jake?
have. I always
I
say,
want to say Dan and Shay too.
don't they? They just have this. There's a feeling like the industry is really behind them right now.
Dan and
I mean,
Shay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know
Yeah.
you love them. They're good guys.
And they're and you can love them as
Danny?
much as you love Brett Young. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think they're just as lovable.
When I'm okay, I can tell you this: when I'm around, when I'm listening to music at the gym or whatever, Brothers Osborne and Florida Georgia Line, those are two artists that I can put on and just shuffle the music, and I am in. I
Brett,
love
what do you
them.
listen to when you drink tequila?
Ooh.
And don't say
when
Joe
I'm with
Nichols.
when I'm with Danny, he insists it's Dan and Shay
Well, that's weird.
because that's what sets the mood for us. But
You guys get together and drink without us?
I'm going to
Tony, you got the
goodness.
secret out of the bag.
I love Florida Georgia Line. They're my band, but I'm going to vote for Brothers Osborne.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not a bad bet.
No, it's not.
Put me down for Dan and Shay.
Okay, Jake, I'm going to actually side with Tony on this and pick Brothers Osborne only because they won last year, and they seem to be industry favorites, so I'm going to bet smart on this.
Wow.
I do
I
love
would
Now,
them.
they did that on the strength of their first single, right? They won that on the first strength of,
True.
Right.
and nothing's quite reached
Well,
that
they have
peak
the
yet.
Burning Man collaboration with Dirks this year,
Cool.
and that album was really good.
Okay, but you got to count on the people voting knowing that.
I love you, Dan and Shay, but I got to say Brothers Osborne on this. So I'm siding with you, Tony. That's two. This is
I
getting weird.
know.
you guys.
I know.
God.
No,
Move on.
Jake and I will take that one. I'm
Dan plus Shay.
yeah. This is their year. I'm telling you, it's
gotta
their
be.
year.
It
It's gotta
feels like
be.
it. It
They
sure-
are busting their ass, and they are
Yeah.
watching their numbers, streaming numbers and stuff. It's just incredible to watch those guys.
Yeah.
If I agree with Tony one more time, I'm going to get a dog named Loretta Lynn. I see where
There
this
you
is
go.
going.
Laura Lynn and Patsy Cline. Hey, well, speaking of which, what did you just say? That reminded me.
Streaming numbers?
Yeah, streaming numbers. Why isn't King Brown in any of these nominations? I don't
You know,
understand.
that's a great point.
That guy's got #1 song on iTunes. He's streaming. Everybody's streaming his music.
He's not in the club.
Yeah. Is it next year? Is he going to be next year?
I think he's a shoe-in for male vocalist next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if
we'll see
not,
him,
I'll be shocked.
We'll see him at the ACMs.
So he's not getting a snub. It's because it's kind of almost a year behind. It's
Yeah,
almost
a
like-
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of
No,
these
I think
other.
he's getting a snub.
I think
Yeah.
next year he'll be nominated again
I
for
hope
new
not.
artist.
I hope.
Just kidding.
I mean, he
hope
did
so.
tell us when we talked to him that he doesn't like to
That's it.
do the Nashville way.
He doesn't.
And that will cost you CMAs.
Yeah, ask
Boy,
Toby
will.
Keith all about that.
Yeah.
Toby
That's why
Keith.
the ACMs love Toby.
Zach Brown. Zach
Right.
King
Brown.
Brown got famous without Nashville.
Right.
And that's why
Yeah.
Casey
Yeah.
Musgraves is going to struggle in the female vocalist category. The nominees are Kelsey Ballerini, your girl,
You put
Miranda
me down for
Lambert,
her right now.
Miranda Lambert, the perennial winner, Maren Morris, who had a huge song of the summer this
She
year,
did.
Love
Casey
her.
Musgraves, who I actually liked her album for what it's
Yeah.
worth, and Carrie Underwood, who's hosting, by the way, with Brad Paisley. What do you think? Let's start with you, Jen.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, that was
She deserves it 100%. She too has worked her butt off this year, and I don't know. She's had a lot of great songs this year. The other people's songs, like if we compared Carrie's song and Miranda's songs that came out this year, but compared to Kelsey Ballerini's
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah.
I mean, I love I love
You
all
sold me. I'm switching. I bet you. I bet
Wow.
her $20 that it wouldn't be
Yeah,
Kelsey.
you bet me $20.
So,
You've already got $20 on the hold firm, Tony.
Yeah.
Do you like beaches?
Well, you know,
Because I've got this cool property out in Arizona. I'd
you
love
know
to
what
sell
I
you.
did? When after Jen and I talked about it, and Jake, we all talked about it. I went online and just started listening to and watching some of her videos, and just God, I was like, this girl is so talented and so lovable. We've all met her, and the 3 or 4 songs that I pulled up, I'm like, she deserves it.
And when she comes to Portland, she comes and plays in our Bloodworks Live studio. She didn't do that for anyone else. We appreciate you, Kelsey. That's why you're getting my vote too.
But I love all those women who are in this year.
Yeah,
all
it's a
of them.
strong category.
I don't think
I
they
agree.
want. I
I
don't
mean-
think they want Miranda accepting winning though, because I think if she
Who's
gets
they?
up, they being the industry,
CMAs.
because I think if she gets up there to accept an award, she's going to blast you guys.
I heard a quote, and
I think she's
can't-
going to blast the radio.
I can't tell you
Yeah.
where the source is because I can't remember, but there was a quote that says it might have been Rolling Stone or something. She said she had to partner up with somebody with
with a penis.
thank you.
Yeah.
To get a #1.
Yeah,
She kind of did.
she said. I think she's really mad right now, and I don't think you want a mad Miranda Lambert
No,
up
that's-
on that stage because
no.
she won't hold back.
Somebody tweeted us earlier because we were talking about this on the morning show and blasted me and Tony and Jake for like dogging on the women in the women's category for not liking them. Please hear this. We love all of the women in this category dearly and we want their songs to be played, but you gotta have some good freaking songs
Yeah.
Well,
to be
no.
played.
The fans have to buy the music, they have to request the music, and they have to get behind it. If they love it, we'll play
Yeah,
it.
I mean we're not making the decisions. Me and Tony and Jake
No.
do not decide crap.
And we're gonna
They barely let
dive
me
into
in this
more of
building.
that when we get into the Entertainer of the Year category.
Okay.
Danny, what was your pick for female?
Man, I'm struggling between Maren Morris and Kelsey, but I agree with Jen. She has worked her butt off. She's been hosting the CMA Music Awards. She's been, not the Music Awards, but Biggest Night of the Year.
Yeah.
She did that. She
Music
just did the
Fest.
Victoria's Secret show.
And she looked hot.
Oh, yeah, she had great legs.
She's way too young
God,
for me to look at her.
I'm going to go with Kelsey.
What?
Okay, Jake, you gonna make it unanimous?
Don't let us drag you into it, Dan.
I know, but I'm struggling because I love Maren too. It's just a hard, I
Are
hate this
we
category.
about
It's
to have
tough.
another moment where we all agree, Jacob?
Oh Lord!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Oh,
Let's
man.
do.
I brought everybody to my
You
side.
did the Kelsey Ballerini evangelist
Yeah,
over
right.
here.
But it's by no means 100%, Jen. Like there's no, we could
No,
all
it's
be
not.
wrong.
It's true. It
Right.
could totally be Miranda Lambert or Carrie Underwood,
Oh.
and it would still be warranted if any of them won.
no.
Well, this
then-
next category
yeah.
could turn into fisticuffs in this room.
Oh.
oh Lord!
Male Vocalist of the Year,
Yeah,
Dierks
man.
Bentley, Luke Combs, which is his first nomination in
Wow,
this category.
definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thomas Rhett, he had a pretty incredible year.
Yep.
Chris Stapleton, he wins every year. Keith Urban. Danny Dwyer, let's start with you.
Oh, damn.
I got this
Dang.
one. I got it.
Okay.
This one's tough. Because Stapleton's been the ongoing favorite for 4 years now. I love Keith Urban. But man, Luke Combs in that category.
They
have to
get
go for Luke Combs?
Huh?
I like
You
how
have to say Luke?
he repeats all the nominations again. Which
Well,
one,
let's hear
Danny?
it.
It's a guy. Okay, Keith Urban, fine.
Whoa, okay.
That would be great if he won.
Just pull the gun
He's
to my
such a
head.
great
I know.
guy, but I just
How can you not love the man?
I love
Interesting.
the man, but he bores me.
Interesting to
No.
note that both Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan not nominated in this category.
Or Blake Shelton.
Or Blake. Well, Blake doesn't typically get nominated for CMAs, does he?
Not typically,
lot of
but
He's an ACM.
but again, a snub.
Blake
Another
gets
snub.
ACM
it seems like
stuff, too.
the
Right.
CMAs and ACMs have picked their battle lines in the Miranda Blake split.
Sure.
Smart.
Oh.
Maybe not
Well, I
intentionally.
didn't
I
think
don't
of that.
know.
No, I think Blake is just retired.
He seems like it.
He
doesn't
is. He's retired.
He's on The Voice.
He
throws
said
out-
he was gonna. He
throws
said he
out
was
a
gonna retire
song.
at the beginning of what was it, last year?
Last year.
He said he was gonna retire later that year, and he never made the announcement. But I think he did.
He did win the People's Choice favorite country artist this week, so
Well, he's
Right.
beloved. I mean,
the
we all
fans still love him.
He is beloved.
Right.
If I had a
Um,
choice between traveling and singing or hanging out with Gwen Stefani,
Yeah, that's a good point.
count me
I
out
would
of
pick
it.
traveling and singing.
I'm off the road.
She's not your hollaback girl.
I
huh?
would
She's
I would
not.
hang with Gwen because she still can sing and she can travel, so I'll go with her.
You're probably making more money too. Right?
Let's go with Jen. What do you say?
Thomas Rhett.
Okay.
I mean, if you go based on the name
Yes.
entertainer of the year, that kid has been entertaining this year like crazy.
Does
Sure,
he put
but-
out a bad song?
No,
No,
he
Thomas
can't.
Rhett. No, not for
He
me.
can do no wrong.
No.
And he has cute kids.
His first
and his
couple were
wife is
boring, but then
adorable.
he found his voice. I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I love
again,
him.
let's go back to the category.
All right.
Male vocalist
Oh,
of
I
the
thought we
year.
were talking
Oh,
about
that's right, this is not
entertainer.
entertainer.
Oh, I'm sorry. This,
This is
male
the male
vocal.
vocalist.
Oh, male vocal.
Is he
Wait,
better than Stapleton
is
or
Thomas
Luke
Rhett
Combs?
an entertainer of the year?
No.
No.
So
I'm still staying with Thomas Rhett then.
say that again, Danny.
Male
Like you
vocalist
think
of the
this
year.
this should be purely on like their vocal talent?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, in that
Chris, then
case-
Keith Urban's out.
I mean,
Let's not. He's,
Like an Asian. He's like an Asian top 40 guy.
putting the
like-
foreigner on blast.
Like somebody
Wait,
forgot to tell
wait,
him.
do the,
He's like Rick Springfield.
That
I mean,
is Tony Russell, Keith Urban.
Well-
that is Tony Russell.
at Tony Russell Radio. For
I
Fearless Picks.
love Keith Urban as a man, but come on.
So
No, but you
male
know what? To Danny's point, if this is based on The Voice, then no wonder Chris
And it's
Stapleton won
Stapleton.
That's
every year.
tough.
Are you, what are you
but I
picking?
don't think that's how. I mean, when you're going through it and making your votes, nobody votes on their voice.
Vocal talent. Vocal.
I mean, do
Now
they
you
also?
got
Ronnie
it.
Dunn
they
should be
should
winning that one if
also
that's the
go
case.
off of
No
the
kidding.
songs they've
But
come
he's
out
not
with,
around
like looking
anymore.
at the songs.
Because he broke up with Brooks.
Yeah, I think commercial success matters to a certain degree, but not necessarily. I mean, Stapleton hadn't had a number one, and he won in years past.
Right.
Jake, what are you picking?
Best vocal.
Which guy?
I got. Hey,
It's tough. I know.
it's very tough.
What's the names
I
again?
want Keith Urban to win it so bad.
I'll go through it one more time. Dirks, Luke, Combs, Thomas Rhett, Chris Stapleton, and Keith Urban. What are the fans saying?
You've ruined this for me, Danny, because I'm thinking what do I like the songs the best? But now you're
do love
saying
Dierks
who
Bentley,
has the
too.
best vocal talent.
yeah,
and
that's what
that-
it is. Vocalist.
No, because we're not betting. I mean, we're not doing our own categories here. We're doing who's going to win.
So okay,
you just go
l-
with your gut.
I love Thomas Rhett, but
Oh, you're changing, Tony?
if I had to pick which one I like their voice the best, it'd be Luke Combs. If I say who's going to win, Chris Stapleton.
So which one are you picking?
Chris Stapleton's going to win it.
Okay.
Wow.
Probably. I mean,
I
probably.
thought you had Thomas Rhett, so you changed that. Okay.
That's
Jake?
Thomas Rhett's my favorite out of those. that
Yeah,
I love to listen to.
I want Keith Urban to win. I will be happiest if Keith Urban wins,
Me too.
but Thomas Rhett.
Okay.
I hope you're
I'm-
right. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm actually, guys, this is weird. I'm going to agree with Tony again.
Hey,
I don't know what's
anybody have-
happening.
Anybody have a Great Dane, a white one? That would be great.
Who put booze in my Starbucks?
Me.
Yeah, I think going off past success, I think Chris Stapleton wins that category again. So, last one, Entertainer of the Year. By the way, any fan comments we need to catch up on? Any bold predictions that we didn't address already?
Thomas Rhett is getting a lot. I see that name a lot. Miranda's jealous. Oh, okay. Jen has brains. All right.
Finally, somebody
Keith
recognizes
Urban.
it.
Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
Miranda. Interesting.
Miranda for male vocalist. See where are we going with this equality thing?
No, I think he's a female.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Tony on Stapleton. So for Entertainer of the Year, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney and his amazing stadium tours, Chris Stapleton, and
Selling
Keith
it?
Urban.
Wait, can you go one more time? I was still reminiscing of the fact
Danny-
someone.
that was a Danny
Amazing
delivery
stadium
there.
tour. Like, okay,
Hey,
well,
look,
we
there's
know
only
who
one of these
Mojo
guys
likes.
selling out stadiums. I'm just putting that out there. Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney, Chris Stapleton, and Keith Urban.
Let's start with you, Mojo.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. You would do that to me, wouldn't you?
Wait, let me point this out to you. Let me point this out because now we're talking about stadium tours. Who had 2 stadium tours this year?
Garth.
Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney.
Taylor Swift.
They were the only 2. They're not in that category.
If we're gonna
they were the only 2.
Now.
So Keith Urban went to a arena tour.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is on there?
Luke Bryan.
That's a stadium tour.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. He did.
He had like
9,
3.
He had 9 stadiums.
Oh, 9. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Kenny Chesney had 14. So you got to break it down that way. So you can't look at the stadium. Who had the biggest tour? Because I'm with Jake. Who's going to win this overall as an entertainer? Who do you feel is the best entertainer? Can't look at the size of the stadium because I already know who I want to win this category.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: it's Keith Urban.
Yes, it is
awesome. Keith Urban's awesome.
His show in Eugene kicked my ass. I was like, I came home. I was like, damn, that dude is good.
Not to rip the scab off again on the conversation about females again, but we were talking about how come there's no females in the Entertainer of the Year category.
Correct.
Was there any female country tour that was on the level with any of the 5 nominees? And the only one I would throw out there isn't country, Taylor Swift. That was the best show I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's
so. I mean that's the argument I have back when people ask that question.
It sucks. I don't disagree with you based on that, but it sucks that that's what it is.
Right.
Here's what could change that. Why don't the girls work together and do a stadium tour when you have a Kelsey, a Carrie, a Marin, maybe Miranda? And
I thought Miranda did that a couple years ago.
Did she?
Didn't she bring out Casey and Marin and who's on Miranda's tour this last time?
I don't remember.
It was a lineup of ladies.
But
it did good.
It seems to me like that would change the game.
God Made Girls.
Raylyn.
Raylyn.
That's right.
Because I bought Raylyn merch and not Miranda merch.
It was Justin. It was Justin Moore. It was Justin Moore, Miranda Lambert, and Raylyn.
Okay, well, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Then.
It was Justin Moore. I do remember that.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say Kenny Chesney. Just because I think it was a phenomenal tour, a great show. He's an entertainer. He brought out David Lee Murphy, which was a surprise to all of us. And they already won, by the way, for Vocal Event of the Year. That came out earlier today.
Right.
So everything's going to be all right. Congrats to David Lee Murphy. Love to see him picking up another trophy.
Listener Nola is doing the happy dance today because she loves David Lee Murphy.
I love him too.
Yeah.
She emailed us this
Get that
morning.
dust off the bottle, baby.
And Chesney, I mean, you can do stadium tours for how long has he been doing it? Like 15 years?
Yeah,
Pretty impressive. You're picking Keith. I'm sorry to spoil it.
That would be the Dukes of Hazzard wanting to vote for Kenny Chesney.
Somebody's got a call from Roanoke coming in.
Roanoke, Virginia, or Louisiana?
Thanks for the vote.
Random.
It's Keith.
It's actually,
I see you, mate.
It's Danny's phone. My guess is it's Keith Urban's people saying, thank you.
Oh, funny. For my entertainer of the year? Man. I want to go with Keith.
Of course.
It's not going to happen. That's probably going to end
it'd be cool if it did.
It would be
He's
awesome.
never won.
Then then that shouldn't be your pick, Danny. We're playing to win.
Okay, playing to win. I'm going to go with Chesney.
Whoa.
I'm changing out Chesney.
Copycat.
You're
Go
right.
ahead, Jake.
It's the right pick. It really is.
You're picking Chesney too? You're going to be bold.
I don't know. I just don't know. Give it to me one more time.
Okay. Aldine, Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney, Chris Stapleton, Keith Eben.
Keith Urban.
All right. Wow.
I talked Danny out of it, but I won it.
Thanks for stealing my vote.
That's kind of a jerk move,
If
Jake.
that cost me Chipotle, you're buying avocados.
That's where you're going if you win this?
Jerk move, Jake. Jerk move.
Well, you're going to pick Safeway's Chinese food. So
Ruth Chris
General Tao for the win entertainer of the year.
What do you think, Jen?
Luke Bryan.
Okay. That's not a bad pick either.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's mine too.
You never
I'm
go
picking-
wrong with Luke Bryan.
I had never really stayed for his entire concert, but I had a nice date this last time, so I stayed the whole way through.
Who won last year? Wasn't it Luke?
And I thought he was amazing. I don't think he's got the greatest voice by any means, but man, the crowd loves him, and he throws the beer in the crowd, and he's joking
He throws a
around.
party.
And
it's definitely a party.
Tony had a great view of the crowd from his seats. I mean, he could see everyone from up there.
There was no crowd behind him.
I don't know what I did to piss off Mojo that week, but I was so far up. I was sitting next to the guy operating the lights.
Hey, you know what? Let's take this back a little bit. Remember that time we sat on stage and drank beers with Brad Paisley while he performed?
Well, here's the deal. We got the best tickets we could get. That concert was basically sold out, and we gave all the best tickets to who?
The Bull Nation.
All those neon shirts.
The listeners. So they're not going.
By the way, Jen's seats were up there with you. So were mine.
I've always wondered about that. I always wondered if you guys snuck down during the concert.
Asked Jen.
Nope. We sat up there.
We
all of
went
us.
and upgraded some people's seats up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, and they lost their minds.
they did.
They were so happy.
Well, as long as they keep listening, we're good.
Remember that time I took you back to meet Florida Georgia Line?
That was
and you
awesome.
stole dinner from their catering and a couple of rum and cokes, I think. And hey, remember that time you got to go have a few combos with Chris Stapleton? You told him what a beautiful man and made him blush.
So is that why I'm not allowed to go back anymore?
Yeah, you got your punch card
Because you're
full. Suck
sexually
it up.
harassing the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Goose and Stapleton might have been a bit much, Tony.
Stapleton literally stopped the photo shoot and looked at me.
He laughed.
And goes, he's like, "Oh, I don't." He
I have
didn't know
no
what to
told me I'm
say.
a beautiful man before.
No, yeah,
Yeah, we found out how high his voice can go.
Yeah.
yeah. He
Thanks
was
to Tony.
he was just like,
So, okay, that's everybody, yeah?
Yeah, that's everybody.
Okay, so can you email this out
I
to
will.
us?
I will.
all of-
So we can play along at home in the home version tonight.
Yes. Oh,
or on the
you
live version
know
at
it.
5 if we're watching social media.
Well, let's talk about that. I was
Well,
going to say,
yeah, speaking of
because we're going to be doing social media tonight. I'll be doing the Facebook Live version a little bit.
I'll be on Instagram Live. Me and I'm going to grab Taylor from Weekends. We're going to do it together.
I will be on the Twitter sphere.
And
Cool.
Tony will be bumbling.
bumbling.
He'll be swiping right or left.
Swipe right.
That's not Keith Urban. Whoa, hey now.
Swipe.
I am looking for a woman who has as pretty hair as Keith Urban. I will tell you that. That
I hope
man's
she
got
has
some,
better hair than that.
That guy's got some nice hair.
Has Cosmo or anything ever done an interview with him and he's like let into what products he uses? Because I would love to read that article.
He uses Vegemite.
Yeah.
Vegemite.
Oh my God.
They use that for
Ew.
everything down under.
That's nasty.
Jake, what are you bringing to the table this week?
All right, so mine is we're going to switch gears to Christmas music right now and have the this will be the definitive discussion about Christmas music. When can you start playing it? When should you start playing it? And we're talking about from like a personal perspective, from a retail perspective, and from a radio perspective. All three.
Okay.
Radio, Black Friday, retail, probably now. What's the other one?
Personal.
Personal. I think personal and radio, I'd say Black Friday's when it should start. Although I hear there's a couple stations in town already doing it.
And one went because the other one, right?
Yeah.
Charlie flipped, and then K103 went.
Yeah, so they all thought, hey, let's all play Christmas music. I think it's a little early. I mean, we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go with Mojo on those. I like Black Friday. Get me in a little bit of the spirit. I'll say after Black Friday we'll start listening to it, and then to get in the spirit of putting up the tree on the weekend, probably be that following weekend after Thanksgiving.
And just for clarity, commercially, what do you mean? Like in stores?
Yeah, retail.
People still go to
in the
those?
stores. Yeah.
I don't hear it when I go on Prime. It's weird.
You haven't been to one in a while?
Oh my
I've already got my
goodness.
Christmas shopping
Oh my
done.
gosh. Shopping is still brick and mortar.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we all love doing
Yeah,
it
I know.
online.
I was at Costco the other day, and I was finally getting my passport photo, and they were having the trees all lined up, and they were playing Christmas music, and I was like, I'm not ready for this yet. It was weird.
You guys are crazy, and I'm hoping you're with me on this one, Jen.
Okay.
Turbo mode, Christmas music, the minute you close your door after trick-or-treating. Like,
After trick-or-treating?
hell yes.
You
Go
love it that much?
Jake, I didn't
Aw,
know
really?
this. Have you been keeping this
think
in the
that's good.
can?
Whoa.
I mean,
Last week I talked about
know
putting my
this.
tree up, and you guys all looked at me like I was talking
crazy.
in another
The
language.
hell I did.
That's
I
different.
freaking love Christmas.
Down with
I-
it.
okay, how many people have put up their trees in this room still, besides me?
I haven't done it yet, but
Done it yet.
I wish it was.
Same.
Tony, what are your thoughts? When it's too soon for Christmas?
I don't know. I usually have, after about 3 bourbons, I start listening to Christmas music every night by myself.
Well, if I had your
Me
life,
and
I would
Patsy
too.
Cline.
I'll be on fire. Christmas.
Is it a white Christmas or a wife for Christmas?
I'm getting so drunk because, baby, it's cold outside.
Now we should break that down into the categories to make sure we agree on this, Jen, because I say personally, go crazy.
Go.
As soon as it feels right, go
You
for it.
do
Yeah,
you.
as soon as trick or
After
treating
Thanksgiving.
For retail wise, anytime midway through November, maybe not the night after thing, but the Christmas stuff comes out, and as soon as the Christmas stuff is there in the beginning of the store,
You should have at least one song in rotation.
Bublé should be on the
Oh,
loudspeaker.
yes.
Best Christmas album.
Radio wise, Black Friday.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to you for that in the brick and mortar stores because Mojo doesn't shop at the stores.
Yeah.
I've been
too
building
good for it.
building Maui's doghouse. So it seems like every couple days I need to make a run to Lowe's. In the middle of October, 50% off on the Halloween stuff,
Yeah.
and they were already having like snow globes out, and I'm like, it's the middle of October.
Were there people in the section though?
Yes,
Yes, there were.
I was like, gosh.
Does anybody else get themselves a Christmas gift?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Constantly.
bought myself Justin Timberlake tickets. You see how that worked out?
Well, that'll be a Valentine's present for you.
I spent more on myself this year than anybody.
I got myself a new Ford Explorer. Thanks, Vancouver Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, you went and got it?
Oh, you're a young
Suck it.
dealer?
Oh,
Yes,
I want to see it.
it's awesome.
Yeah?
I'll show you. It's all black. It's
Jen,
amazing.
y'all on board with me on all three of those things, by the way?
Yeah, I think that you should do you whenever you want to play your Christmas music. That's on you. And I would just like to say, Hobby Lobby had their Christmas stuff up in July. You win. I think retail stores, like day after Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
you should have at least 1 or 2 songs in your hour rotation that come up.
Fair.
And then, yeah, I would think Thanksgiving Day play some Christmas songs on radio.
Yeah.
Because people are traveling to their Thanksgiving dinners.
Right.
And they're already excited. Like, it is, I think on Thanksgiving Day and the day before, you're official, like, you knew the holiday was coming and you're kind of in the mood. But on the day, you're like, it's holiday time.
Right.
And so,
And the one holiday at a time argument, those people, the one I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you. You one holiday at a time people who say save the Christmas music for after Thanksgiving. Well, they don't have Thanksgiving music.
yeah.
All right?
That's
That's
true.
true.
Adam
Way off.
Sandler.
They have the one.
I agree with Tony, though. There's nothing like when you had a few drinks of bourbon to, put on the Bublé album and chill. I mean,
That's your fault that I bought the bourbon, by the way.
I agree with you 1,000. Oh, was it the John Rich stuff? I showed him my empty bottle last night. Thank you, John Rich. That was amazing.
Yeah, at the Redneck Riviera bourbon. Can't recommend that enough if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
single. For
By the way,
Christmas.
I was kidding. That wasn't my dinner last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
side
well,
note on
mine
that
either.
bourbon,
No, it's
you
whiskey.
can make a really
Whiskey.
good glaze for steak with that bourbon,
matter.
by the way.
Ooh, recipe
The
time.
the Redneck Riviera, I used it for a glaze
Oh, it's
for
amazing.
deer
Ooh,
meat
use that
the
on
other
my
night.
tofu.
Remember, I texted you guys a picture of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
backstrap?
Oh, that was a redneck strap it?
It was
It
a, yes.
is the best bourbon I've tasted. And,
Is it bourbon?
For that price?
It's whiskey.
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 I call it bourbon.
Whiskey.
I'm sorry.
That's two different things, right? I'm not much of a drinker. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bourbon is whiskey, but it's different, right?
It's
yeah.
aged
It's
differently.
It's aged
Aged
differently. Yeah,
different.
yeah.
One's
I think
aged in, I
it's
think, in an
double
oak
aged.
barrel,
Right.
and the
And
other.
then Scotch isn't that
a whiskey.
a whiskey as
Oh.
well?
Yeah.
See, I don't know enough about it. I
I
just
don't
like to
like
drink it. I couldn't tell you the difference between an expensive bottle and a not expensive bottle.
Right.
But anybody else disagreeing with our conversation about this, about Christmas? Anybody-
Christmas stuff was put up a day after Halloween.
Wow.
That's as bad as leaving Christmas lights up all year.
No,
It's
that's,
Now
definitely
you
not,
do
but that's
whatever
awesome.
you want.
that's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
yes.
Yes.
Unless you're my neighbor, then it's just laziness.
You know, guys, if,
People seem to be. People are still talking about Keith Urban's hair. They're more interested in that than our.
Get that.
Somebody,
We need that product
somebody
list.
send me a link for his hair products.
All right. Last but not least, Tony Russell. You're going to close us out. What are you bringing to the table today?
All
for
right, we
BS?
got to talk about this fast because, man, we spent a lot of time on the
The CMA part was long,
tonight.
yeah.
Well, tomorrow is the big day. We're giving away an opportunity, $1,000 every hour.
Every hour, starting at 6:10 a.m. with Tony, Jake, and Jen, all the way till midnight.
Yeah.
Every hour, you have a chance to win $1,000.
So I was thinking, if you want $1,000 and you have to invest it, you
Okay.
have
Oh.
to, okay?
Ooh.
Okay.
What are you investing it in?
That's a twist. Okay.
Like, are we
Scratchies.
talking? Are we talking mutual fund investment or like?
Whatever you want to invest it
Okay.
in, it's an investment.
Okay.
like the point is to make more money with it.
Right. So
And
you're
there's
not
no
gonna,
other rules
yeah.
besides that.
No other rules beside it. You can invest it in anything you want with the hopes of making money off
Okay.
of it.
Oh, I like where Jake was going.
What?
Scratchies.
Yeah, scratchies.
Is that your answer?
No. So what I would say, I'm going to go with
Casino.
no. I think like if you're literally like if we each get $1,000 and whoever has the most at the end wins.
Yeah.
I'd buy. I don't know. I don't know what the hot toy is, but that's what I'd do.
Oh, I see what you're
Go
So you
buy
can turn
out the
around
hot
and sell
toy
it later.
and then resell it.
Okay.
when the demand's up for right before Christmas.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
actually going along those lines.
Oh, that's
I was going to
interesting.
go cut out the Black Friday circular from one of the big electronic stores and get one of those super cheap TVs and as many as I can, bring all my kids and everything so I can get as many as I can, and then go sell them on one of the platforms for like 3 or 4 times the amount.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah.
Not
The amount
bad.
you can get is like 2.
Mm-hmm.
But not per person.
No, I mean like with $1,000, you're only walking out of there with 2.
It depends. I mean, sometimes they have, like 32 inches that are $100. You can get 10 of
32
those.
inches.
Really?
Whatever. You can turn those
Wow.
around. for
Isn't
twice the
this a
money.
32?
I got
inch?
mine off. I got mine out beside the dumpster. somebody was moving and they laid one beside the dumpster. I picked it up and the damn thing works. So there you go.
I have this like thing. I have to have the biggest TV. I have like a 72-incher. Anyway, have one.
Do you
bigger?
really?
Yeah. Do anybody have a bigger one?
That's awesome.
My little 1-bedroom apartment. It's huge.
That's
that
awesome.
seems like too big.
It is
like a
the
big
wall.
screen.
That's
It's
a
like a
little
movie theater.
obsessive.
Is there such a thing as a TV too big?
No.
Let us know.
100%.
Yes.
Danny Dwyer, what are you? How are you
have one.
investing?
I love to play the lottery, so I would take that $1,000 and I would expand it try to use it for the whole year, and
Like
just
a
keep
ticket a day.
Yeah, just
What are
what
you
I'm
talking
saying.
about, like Powerball?
Yeah,
Danny.
It's
no,
amazing.
actually, not Powerball. I actually like
well,
lottery.
Danny's
going to
lose them.
the Washington
He's going to lose
lottery.
all the money.
Same thing,
It's,
Danny.
it's local.
You're not
I know
gonna
what?
win.
I'm getting you
That's
the
not
Dave.
true.
I'm
You
getting you
don't
the
know.
Dave Ramsey book for Christmas.
You never know.
Chris said he would invest it into the Oregon lottery and some of the gambling machines.
Somebody just put gold.
That's a good point.
Gold's a good one.
Gold is a good one.
I like
Gold's a
that
good
one.
one.
That's a good one. What do you say, Jen?
Gold is reverse of the market, though, and that's a dangerous thing right now.
We
I
did
don't
get
know
yours.
what
Yeah.
he just said, but that sounded
Wow.
smart. So don't invest in gold.
We're well educated, Jake.
Oh boy. I would invest in Christmas trees. I would plant.
How do you do that?
I would plant seedlings
Yes.
of the Christmas trees, and then let them grow, and then harvest them the next year.
Good
Are you
point.
planning on doing that in your planter on your back patio?
You live in an apartment, Jen.
Yeah,
Your
that's not really
backyard is a
practical.
baseball field for the local school.
I like it. Not wrong.
They're going to be really pissed when they come out next year and there's Christmas trees in the center field.
They can have a cut of the profit.
But I like
then you're
Jen's
losing
thinking.
money.
I like Jen's thinking because
I like it too.
you get
It's
a tax break from the government.
Oh, man.
Oh, does
Well-
that count to the total value?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Well
whatever your
played.
net is.
Yep.
But like, okay.
And I'm sending them to China, where they charge bajillions of dollars for a
China.
tree.
But then you have to like ship them to China.
Because they love to celebrate Christmas over there.
Just
I'm
ship them to California.
Well
The
played, Tony.
communist country's big on Jesus, I think.
Japan.
All right.
Tony, you would tithe it, correct?
I would give it all to the Lord. No, I quite actually very
That
often
actually would come
That would be
back.
infinite rewards in
That
heaven,
would-
buddy.
that
Yes.
would come
so
back
they
to
would
you.
come back sevenfold.
No, he'd be
but
paying off the deficit at this point.
I would invest mine in the weed industry. I would buy.
Ah, smart.
There's now mutual funds strictly for cannabis, for the cannabis business.
Can I get that link, please?
Yes, I'll show it to you.
Not for buying, Danny.
No,
Yeah.
I'm going to trade my stocks that I have and go to this side of the building.
Yeah, I've actually invested not very much, but a little in it. I think that is. I think once they figure out how it all works and they can regulate it and all that good stuff, I think the cigarette companies are going to buy it all up.
Yep.
And then it's going to be big business.
Great
Just like how
But please, let me show you my bank account before you follow me into the investment
it's
world.
a longer term investment, but
Yeah.
and just like all the beer companies bought up a lot of the microbrews so they can have something in that
Absolutely,
category.
they are.
Yep.
What are some
Yeah.
of the listeners saying about this? But I want to circle back around the room and kind of reiterate what we have so
It
far.
takes 5 years to get trees to grow.
I was
Jen.
wondering about that too.
I was going to say that takes a while, doesn't it?
And it's still at that. It's a Charlie Brown tree.
I
it's a little
actually,
one.
I changed my mind on Christmas trees. I would change to hazelnuts,
Oh.
and those take a while to
Even
get
longer.
going too. But hazelnuts are incredibly lucrative because they only grow here. The hazelnut production in the entire world comes from Oregon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the state nut.
Don't know that either.
Jasmine
Hazelnut
says
is
she
the
would
state nut.
invest in both
Yes, I
her
shouldn't
kids'
have.
college savings, so she makes all of us suck.
Well, long term, that might be the smart play.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad investment because that
Is there a
make-
time frame on this? I mean, like,
Oh, good call. Maybe there's
See,
like
I
a
should
1 year.
have
Let's
done
say
that.
1 year limit.
Oh, my hazelnut trees aren't going to be big enough yet.
No.
I was going to
Perfect.
say 1 to 5 years. You have to cash it out in 1 to 5 years.
1 to
so.
5. What's the limit?
Let's say one. Say one.
1 year.
Keep it
1 year.
clean.
Okay,
One
then I keep
year.
my-
Yeah.
I keep
Well,
my
So
answer.
Jen's out.
Yeah,
I keep my lotto going.
yeah, 1 year out.
Lotto, Danny,
Yeah,
buddy.
You win. I've won a couple times.
I only
Yeah.
need a month to triple my money. My idea.
Danny's
Yeah.
got that side DJ business going that does really well for him. So if he loses $1,000, he doesn't care. He'll make that in the next wedding.
Yeah. Put $1,000 spot in the wedding expo.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So
great idea.
let's
a good investment
let's
too,
wrap
Jake.
things.
Oh shit.
We should probably do that.
Let's
Yes,
wrap
we
things
should.
up and reiterate here. Rake your leaves. That way,
Yes,
Danny
that
Dwyer
is
doesn't have
true.
to come over and do it for you. To turn
Well,
into a
if
big
you have
scene.
neighbors, that's the courteous thing to do. It
Yes.
is. So they don't blow over in their yard.
Christmas music, maybe in the stores, but not yet radio and personal play.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Research
Is that what you're
says
saying?
Full throttle.
He is from the
says
devil.
The sooner you start celebrating Christmas, the happier you are. But it also says if you listen to Christmas music over and over again, it's not
Depressing.
good for you.
It's also an indicator of being psychotic too, I think.
I think it.
Jen, well, we need more inclusion of women,
No,
but
less
not
inclusion of women.
more inclusion of women, but not necessarily at the expense of
Men.
a male category. Is that the right way to say that?
I guess so.
I don't think there's
like
any way
I
to
don't
say it
think
without
we
getting
have
in
to
trouble.
involve
Right.
women in everything.
Maybe I should have let you summarize that.
There you go.
Again, my name is Tony Russell.
Yeah.
And
Name's right on the screen. You can't fool nobody.
I've already got my hate mail this week. You're
and
done.
take financial advice from Tony. Buy weed.
I did say buy weed.
Invest in weed.
Invest in it.
Invest in the company. Stay away from the weed. I hear it's not good for your
If
brain.
you're trying to turn money around in a year, invest in weed, not trees, is what we learned out of that, right?
Right.
Sorry, Jen. The 1 year limit probably would have changed her answer on the front end had we
Dang
said
it.
that, Tony. And we all can't agree on CMA awards, except for me and Tony, oddly enough. Which
That is a first.
Are you guys gonna like snuggle while you watch?
Actually,
or
I
what's
think
the plan
we
here?
agree on a lot more than we disagree on. But
It's
when
true.
we disagree, it's
Yeah,
good.
I never heard from you. What are you two doing tonight? We never heard from you guys.
we're having a Patsy Cline
Now we
sandwich.
know what we're doing. They're drinking bourbon and hanging on the couch with
Yep,
Patsy. and
we're gonna go
Patsy
walking
and
On
on
the
the
back for all their answers getting right.
Good job, buddy. You
Thanks, buddy.
suck.
I love you. Mojo's got a life. I'll be laying in my bed with Patsy Cline watching the CMA Awards.
I love that you think I have a life. You are going to have one more. Danny, your phone.
That is actually a record label calling you right now. Yes, it
Yeah.
says so.
They're saying, what do you mean you're picking Keith Urban?
Oh, it's
Pick it up. Pick
it's
it up.
Brett Young's
Pick it up.
camp.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Tell them they're
Stella-
live.
Put them on speaker.
Hi, Stella.
Stella!
Hey, you're on our podcast called BS, and we're talking about the CMAs. And I voted and said that Brett Young was going to win the Best New Artist of the Year, and Jake said the same thing. So we just want to say thanks for calling us back because you heard our conversation.
I was feeling it.
Great.
Ears were ringing.
Is she single?
No.
Tony,
No,
no.
she's not.
So you're in the middle of our podcast, but we want to say we'll call you back. But thanks for the heads up that we know that Brett Young is listening.
And I want Brett Young
Oh,
tickets.
you're very welcome. And yes, he is listening. And thank you for all your support. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, call you soon. So yeah, oops, sorry about that. I did not pay for that phone call.
In case you didn't know, you've been listening to and watching BSN. I don't know that we're going to do it next week because everyone's talking about getting out of town for
Oh,
Thanksgiving,
yeah.
but we'll be back to get into the full holiday spirit when it's appropriate after Thanksgiving.
Which is appropriate.
Thank you.
And the teaser for that discussion is new Christmas music. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice
And
start.
I'll add
I like
one.
new
I'll go
music.
ahead and tease mine too. Real or fake? Not that, Tony. Christmas trees.
I was going
Oh,
to say.
that's good.
Doesn't matter to me.
Fake for me.
Oh, well, spoiler alert. We'll get into that in a couple weeks. Thank you for listening and watching. We love you all.